Hello. This is the Rolls-Royce Spey engine. It weighs 2,500 pounds, and this video is to demonstrate how to safely lift it from a horizontal position into a vertical position to enable further disassembly of the engine. The first piece that needs to be removed is these anti-ice elbows. There's one here, and there's one here. After that's done, we move on to this T1 canister. This needs to be removed. We'll then take out all the hardware on this flange, including this bracket here. We'll take out this bolt here, take this rod end, pull it back and tie it back. We'll then remove the nose cone, and behind the nose cone is the front oil pump, and it needs to come out as well. The next step is to install the nose stand adapter plate. You secure it to the front frame using the same hardware that you removed from the front frame. Next, we install these lifting adapters. They go over here in the lower mount, right at the mid frame. And we do this so that we can lift the engine up at the front and put in these spacers right in here. Okay, we've put the A-frame into position now. And it's important to center the top beam to the mid-frame here. Have it in line. What else is very important here is we have two cables attached to each side of the lifting adapters, right here. That's very important to remember. You need two cables to be used. Prior to lifting the engine now, we want to make sure that we have all the required tools ready to go. Get your sockets ready, breaker bar ready so we can take off the bolts here. And the nut is different for the equipment that goes on to hold the spacer in. So get the right socket for that as well. You do not want to be in a situation where you're looking for tools and the engine is hanging off the A-frame. You want, once you initiate the lift, you want to have everything ready to go so the job can go smoothly. We've got the engine under tension. We remove the bolts here. We install these longer bolts so we can put in the spacer. We've got these longer bolts installed in all four spots, and now we proceed with lifting the engine up. Okay, now we put in the spacers in the front. We guide the spacers in. When the engine is coming down, it is very important. Do not have your fingers anywhere around here or anywhere underneath here. Have it firmly planted like this. You do not want to have your fingers there. Okay, and now we can start coming down and guide the spacers into the pins. Okay, Michael? Okay, hold on. Okay, so now an important part is to make sure that we've got all these nuts tight. There's 4 of them, these 2, and there's identical 2 on the other side. The lifting adapters can come off now. Now the reason that we install these spacers at the front is for the clearance on this bar right here. When this engine gets lifted up vertical, you need that extra clearance so the engine, the gearbox, doesn't smash against this support bar. Now we install the exhaust adapter plate that we have on here already. We need a minimum of 8 bolts to be installed, holding it in and tightened. Here we have 10, but we require a minimum of 8. We then have 2 cables on each side of the exhaust adapter plate hooked up. And the engine is going to be lifted up from the back going up. So the next thing that we're going to do is, once we get this under tension, we're going to remove this strong back. In order to do that, 2 bolts on each side are going to have to be loosened and taken off here. And we're going to remove this here. When you carry the strong back out, it requires 2 people. And you lift it up and carry it forward of the engine and out. Okay, we've removed the strong back now and we've got it out. And the engine, at the back of the engine, is only being supported by the 4 straps, 2 on each side here. So the next thing that you want to do is remove the chocks on either side, so that the engine is free to move in the stand. So as I begin picking this engine up here on the A-frame, the engine is going to get pushed forward. So if anything was going to happen now, if we had a problem lifting it up and the engine was to drop, you would want to be careful that nobody was in this area forward or in the front of the engine here too, so that nobody gets hit by the engine or the stand if anything was to happen. And now I'm going to begin the lift. Nothing.
Tighten that.
What you can get.
So, if I were you,
Okay, we've got the engine in a vertical position. We loosened off the nuts and have removed the spacers. And now all that is left to do is lower the engine down onto this stand. And after you've done that, you take a 3/4 inch wrench and tighten these right onto the stand. So that concludes our presentation on how to lift the Spey engine to vertical, and thank you for taking the time to watch it.